Welcome in, episode 81, What's Right, Nick Wright, the YouTube show, the podcast. We are live on YouTube right now. If you're already watching, we appreciate you. Today's going to be our most interactive show we've ever done. There's going to be polls. There's going to be a bunch of questions. We're not even, I don't think we're saving it all for the end of the shows we have in the past. So a ton to do today over the next 40 minutes or so. As we always do, by the way, I'm Nick. He's Damonza. Damonza's a little under the weather, so if he sounds a little clogged up today, our apologies. He's powering through it. I thought, post-pandemic, you're not supposed to come to work if you're sick. Damonza, on the other hand, just breathing all over me in these close spaces. No problem. Before we get to the actual show, as we always do, however, what missed the cut for today's show, here's what's not on today's show. Tonight's Thursday night football game, which is one of the worst nationally televised games ever, with the Bears and Washington. The most exciting new basketball documentary has not made the show. The Redeem Team or the Jeremy Lin doc. You might say, Nick, why not? What do you think of them? I haven't watched them. Why haven't you watched the docs, Nick? Because I read books. Like, everyone's like, oh, make this documentary. My friend Dan Lebitard, he's going to make 30 new sports documentaries. It's just because people won't read anymore. How about that as a take? The popularity of documentaries is directly correlated to people
that don't want to
just won't read books. Just pop open a book, America. Turn off Netflix and when you're like, oh, I want to learn something. You know how I'm going to learn something? Laying in bed and watching it be told to me. Read a goddog book once in a while. Also not on today's show, Ben Simmons airball at that outdoor Nets practice. One of the worst shots anyone's ever seen. Ben has now talked about it. He's like, I didn't airball every shot. If you're watching on YouTube, there's the video of it. There was not a single unique or interesting take on this, except for the one Damonza had. Before we get to the actual show, what was your take on that horrifying Ben Simmons shot that my television co-host Kevin Wild said he could shoot with better form with a 50-pound medicine ball than Ben Simmons shot that? What's your take?
My take is it was calculated. I think it's like not a marketing strategy, but I think it's to get the people talking,
Like
everybody's
playing
already
possum?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, you think I can't shoot?
Exactly. And then how slow the windup was for it to be that far off. It just seems like he's got to be doing that on purpose, man.
Okay, real quick before we get to our main topic, which is, of course, Chiefs-Bills. That is a great take. If that's not what it was, and that was his best attempt at the shot, how bad is that in your opinion?
That's pretty bad. I mean, that was like a 10-footer.
I think I think his shot has gotten worse. Kevin O'Connor, who's a great writer and podcaster from The Ringer, 5 years ago, made the argument Ben Simmons shoots with the wrong hand. Because he's one of these lefty-righty guys, and he shoots with his left hand, and he used to shoot with his right hand. I think Kevin O'Connor was correct.
Does Kevin O'Connor read books?
Oh, yeah. Reads books, writes books, smart guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I'm from a generation that likes to crack open a book every once in a while, learn some things. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, while you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you. However, here's what I would recommend. You know what? Bomani does this on his podcast. I might steal it from him because Bomani's a friend. What if we did a What's Right Book of the Month Club? Oh, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it starting on Thursday shows. Starting next Thursday, Book of the Month Club. And we can keep you updated on it, do a little minor segment on it. And you're going to read it too. That's going to be part of the job. Part of the job for Damonza. I already know what the first book's going to be. Oh, I'm excited.
Better hope LeBron doesn't drop an autobiography.
Okay, no, they're not going to be sports books.
No sports books.
They're not no sports books.
Okay.
All right, Damonza, how are we starting today's show?
We're starting with Chiefs-Bills.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills travel to KC to take on your Chiefs, who are underdogs at home.
Underdogs at home.
Yep, I mean, I kind of understand it. They barely snuck one out against the Raiders the other day.
Yeah.
Last year, the Bills beat them in the Week 5 matchup, but obviously Kansas City won when they faced them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna say Mahomes shouldn't be a home underdog or underdog at all.
Yeah.
But given the way the season's kind of panned out, the Bills have done a lot of great things, and like I said, the Chiefs just played the Raiders and barely won.
Yeah.
But would you be willing to put your money where your mouth is if you're gonna say the Mahomes shouldn't be an underdog?
Well, I'm definitely betting the Chiefs. This is not a game. Listen, I want to talk about the game, and then I want to talk about the ideas surrounding the game.
Copy.
Could the Bills win? Of course they could win. So, but do I think there's value on the Chiefs plus 2.5? Yeah. I mean, Mahomes, this is his 42nd career home game. He's never been an underdog prior to this. He's only been an underdog 8 games in his entire career ever. By the way, he's won 6 of those outright, and he's 7-0-1 against the spread in the 8 games where he's an underdog. He was an underdog. He was a favorite in 38 consecutive starts.
Yeah.
And then he was underdog 2 weeks ago, now he's underdog again. Okay? So do I think that's out of line? Yeah, I think that's out of line. And by the way, I haven't looked at the look-ahead lines, but next week they're at San Francisco. I wonder if they're going to make him an underdog there. We'll see how this week goes. But here is my frustration on this conversation surrounding Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills. Everybody loves talking about that Chiefs-Bills playoff game. And it was an epic playoff game. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But they talk about it as if Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes. In fact, I think that is the general sentiment, that Josh Allen was the best player on the field. It is flatly not accurate. In that football game, Josh Allen threw for 330 yards. Patrick Mahomes threw for 380 yards. Oh, but Josh Allen on the ground. Josh Allen ran the ball 11 times for 68 yards and no touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes ran the ball 7 times for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. So he threw for more yards. He ran for more yards. In that football game, they both had passer ratings of 125 plus. And Patrick Mahomes, in the spot of adversity, down 3 with 13 seconds left, found a way to get his team in field goal range. This is not a situation where Allen was unbelievable, Mahomes was mediocre, and they won because of a blocked field goal or a kick return touchdown. If Allen was an A+, then Mahomes was an A+. So why? And the other massive frustration I have is people are saying this is Brady Manning. And maybe one day it will be. But the virtue of Brady Manning, Damonza, you were too young. But Tom Brady won all the championships. Peyton Manning had all the stats. So it wasn't until 2006 that Manning eventually beat Brady in the playoffs for the first time. Prior to that game, Peyton Manning had 2 MVPs, Brady had 0. Peyton Manning had 6 first or second team All-Pros, Brady had 0. Peyton Manning had all the regular season numbers, but Brady was 2-0 against him in the playoffs and had been to 3 Super Bowls and won 3 Super Bowls. Manning had been to 0 Super Bowls. They're like, oh, it's Brady Manning. Mahomes is Brady, Allen's Manning. Except Mahomes is 2-0 against Allen in the playoffs, and he's the only one with an MVP. He has more All-Pros. He's both of them. Mahomes has the better numbers and the playoff resume. Why does Josh Allen get to be Tom Brady or Peyton Manning? Josh Allen, if we're being honest, if we're comparing him to someone of Tom Brady's era early in his career, is Ben Roethlisberger, a really talented, big, strong quarterback who up to this moment hasn't won shit. And, oh, pardon me, sorry, forgot we're on YouTube Live. And is not and doesn't have the stats that Mahomes has. So the Bills have built their entire team to beat the Chiefs. They've said they're obsessed about beating the Chiefs. So if we want to break down this actual game, here is what I am concerned about. Von Miller speed rushing on Orlando Brown concerns me. Now, Von likes to line up against the right tackle. That's Andrew Wiley. But Von Miller could wreck this game. The Chiefs secondary. Davante, could the Bills throw a bunch of bombs and get pass interference penalties like the Raiders should have done more of? That concerns me. The Chiefs' inability to deal with mobile quarterbacks. Josh Allen's killed them on quarterback runs. That concerns me.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' number 1 draft pick, Trent McDuffie, is back this week off IR. I'm glad he's back. First game against Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. That's tough. Now, what is good is Harrison Butker is back this week. So finally, the Chiefs' kicking situation is going to be settled. The Bills absolutely could win this game. But The Bills won this game in the regular season last year and then spit up enough regular season games that they lost the home field advantage to the Chiefs. Here's my final Bills-Chiefs take. This is a must-win game for the Buffalo Bills because they absolutely cannot, in a year where they went out and got Von Miller and the Chiefs went out and traded away their best receiver, where they have allegedly the number one defense in football, the Chiefs' defense mediocre, where Allen is playing as well as he's ever played. They cannot squander their best opportunity to have, if they play in the playoffs again, that game be in Buffalo. They have one thing that Bills fans should hold on to is, Mahomes is 2-0, but both those games have been in Arrowhead. Well, if you don't want the next one to be in Arrowhead, you've got to win this game.
Right.
The Chiefs would like to win this game. They don't have to win this game. And so,
I think they do.
You think the Chiefs have to win it or they do win it?
Yeah, I think they have to.
How come?
I just think if they don't win, people are going to be talking, man.
Oh, I know people will be talking. I know people will be talking.
I feel like this is going to. It's whoever wins this game. I feel like it's gonna serve their ego in the right way.
So this is why I'm saying it's a must-win for Buffalo. If the Bills don't win this game, then it starts to be a real question: can we beat this team? Mahomes would then be 4-1 against Allen, including the 2 playoff wins. The reason I don't think the Chiefs have to win is because this game last year, at the exact same point of the season, the Bills didn't only come to Arrowhead and win, they kicked the Chiefs' ass. And the Chiefs struggled for the next few weeks, and it didn't matter. All right, next game.
All right, the 4-1 Cowboys are looking to set off.
Oh, by the way, on the poll, 61% of the audience thinks the Chiefs are going to win. With that said, our YouTube stream probably skews a little Kansas City heavy, but that's fine. But go ahead.
All right. The 4-1 Cowboys are looking to face the undefeated Eagles. Mm-hmm. Dak is throwing passes left-handed in practice, which I guess is kind of hopeful. Mike McCarthy said that the Cowboys are preparing Cooper Rush to start.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys hope that Cooper Rush does badly so the decision's easier, or is this like a Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe situation?
Well, listen, Dak Prescott's obviously the better quarterback, despite the fact they're 4-0 with Rush. And Rush played really poorly this past week, and they won despite him.
Great.
But
that defense.
Troy Aikman, literally 20 minutes ago, we're live on YouTube right now, and again, comments, questions, stuff, we're going to get to them later in the show if you're in the chat. Troy Aikman, 20 minutes ago on the radio in Dallas, said that if Cooper Rush wins, you've got to ask the real question, do you stick with him? I think that's crazy. I think it is a crazy idea to stick with Cooper Rush when Dak is clearly the better player, and there is not a single one of these games you look at, you're like, oh, won that because of Cooper. The competition's been mediocre, and the defense has been unbelievable, and the running game's been really good. Now, should they take some things that they've learned from this time with Cooper to incorporate with Dak, meaning, yeah, we know we have a $40 million quarterback, but we maybe shouldn't call an offense as if we do unless we have to because the defense is so good. Do I think, yes, I think that should be the case, but Dak obviously has more talent. I don't think the Cowboys want to lose this game, but I think because there's so much noise surrounding Dallas.
Makes things a lot easier.
As for the long-term, mental health of the franchise, it's not only best. What's best is, win or lose, that Cooper plays a terrible game.
Right.
I guess the ideal, the thread the needle would be somehow the Cowboys win because their defense is so unbelievable, but Rush has 3 turnovers. And the fact that, you know what helped Dak a lot? The fact that they won that Rams game, but they did it despite Rush only throwing for 100 yards. I actually think the Cowboys, this is going to work out just perfectly for them. Okay. Because they got 4 straight wins with Cooper, but he's played worse each week. I think he's going to be bad this week. I think they're going to lose.
Why you just hate
Dak then takes over, and they have the Lions and the Bears. And Dak's going to hit the ground running.
Right.
And the question is, because what you don't want is for Dak to take back over with Cooper having never had a terrible game that they lost.
Right.
And so
It's like that what if.
Right. And so I think that this week Cooper's going to have the bad game. I think the Eagles are going to win. I think Dak gets the job back. All right, next.
All right, so Draymond Green was...
Oh, we have another poll. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry,
Who should be the starting quarterback for the Cowboys? It's almost split, Dak and Cooper, 55-45 Dak. That's, pardon me, that's kind of what I'm saying. The fans and the media love quarterback wins. It's why they love Jimmy G.
I feel like they should get split custody of the team.
That never works.
Once Dak comes back, they just one plays the first half.
That never works. Teams have tried stuff like that. That never, ever works. All right, next.
Draymond Green was not suspended for punching Jordan Poole in the face. Steve Kerr said that this is the biggest crisis that we've had since I've been the coach here. Kerr said it's really serious stuff and our culture has been damaged. You said on TV you don't think that Draymond will finish with the Warriors this year. But why would anybody trade for Draymond, the basketball player, and Draymond, the teammate?
Well, so this is complicated. So I don't think Draymond's going to finish the year with the Warriors.
Yeah.
I think they're going to trade him. I know that's a somewhat controversial take, but you got to keep in mind that Draymond gave them an out because they don't want to give him a long-term extension. And after this year, he has a player option. He could opt out, be a free agent, want the long-term extension.
Right.
I also think that, they have to pay Wiggins. They're definitely paying Poole. I don't think they're going to pay Draymond as well. And so now Draymond, with his behavior, gave him a reason for it, right? So why would someone trade for him? So there's two types of trades involving Draymond Green that I think could be interesting. One is a team that is trading for the guys you would include along with Draymond. So Draymond plus the young guys Kuminga, and Moody for a star player. So if a team's star asks out and what they want is young, prospects, the Warriors have that, but you would have to include Draymond so the salaries match. You follow me? Like, this is this trade's not going to happen. I'm just making this is not my proposed trade. But, like, let's say Zach LaVine's. Like, I want out of here. And the Warriors like, that'd be interesting. LaVine along with Clay and Steph.
Right.
We'll play Wiseman at center. You can't just trade Kuminga and Moody for LaVine. The salaries they don't make enough. You throw in Draymond, now the salaries work. So there's one type of trade that would work. Here's another one. Team that needs to learn how to win. So let's say, as a for instance, Zion and Brandon Ingram don't work as a 1-2. And I'm skeptical of it. I think the Pelicans could be really good, but I don't think their defense is going to be that good, despite Herb Jones and Alvarado. And I don't know that Ingram thinks he should be the number 2 to Zion. So for the Pelicans, a team like that that doesn't have anybody on the team with respect to CJ that knows how to win at a high level, need a glue guy, need some defense, could Ingram for Draymond, Kuminga, and Moody. It's a conversation.
Right.
The other type of trade is a 3-teamer. So the 3-teamer is, for instance, the one involving the Lakers. Because Draymond's a clutch guy. Draymond could play the front line alongside Anthony Davis.
Yeah, everybody thinks that Draymond wants to go to the Lakers.
There is a lot of smoke there. So the Warriors obviously would not be taking Russ. But the way it would work is Russ goes to, for instance, let's use the team everybody's talking about, the Pacers. Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, I don't know that the Warriors would want them. But again, they go to the Warriors. Draymond comes down to the Lakers. And the Warriors kick in draft picks to the Pacers. The Lakers kick in a draft pick and the Warriors kick in a draft pick. So the Pacers get the 2 picks for taking on Russ. Draymond goes to the Lakers and the Warriors get a couple rotation pieces. Right. Those are the different trades that could work. Now, and again, those are off the top of my head. My point is some star is going to become available, and because of Big Vic, because of Victor Wembanyama, there are going to be more teams this year that are mediocre that then just decide we want to tear this whole thing down and try to tank for a draft pick than ever before because of the thirst for Victor.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be more guys available. All right, now on I think the Warriors botched this. You can't call it the biggest crisis of your career and then not. And he got suspended one game for yelling at Durant and hurting Durant's feelings. He cold-cocked Jordan Poole. I don't know how Poole's going to deal with it.
You can tell that Poole's a little off.
No, 100%.
I saw it when they played the Lakers. He was like very, like you could tell that he was just like.
It's a jarring moment, and so much of Draymond's value comes from being leader, adult, all that stuff. He's lost all authority there.
Yeah.
He's lost. So I don't think it's tenable long term for the Warriors. All right, last one. There's our time, but we're gonna be quick on this one so we can get to your guys' stuff soon. Next,
you know that former rich quarterback who was caught stealing from the poor?
Allegedly, yeah, Brett Favre.
Yep, he's denying everything completely now. Brett Favre says that he's been unjustly smeared in the media and said that he never knew where the money was going to or coming from.
Yeah.
Sorry. You've held his feet to the fire throughout this process. Do you buy this?
Of course not. I mean, we've seen the text messages.
Right.
The text messages are as crystal clear guilt as anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. Also, while at one point I thought the media was not covering this enough, the media's done a much better job of it. And I have now, I saw, with respect, RG3 tweet out, yeah, what Davante Adams and Draymond Green did was bad, but let's not forget that Brett Favre stole from the poor. Guys, we can do multiple things at once. Okay, like we have the ability to hold multiple thoughts in our head at the same time. And what Brett Favre did, what I believe he did, was awful, and I believe he's going to end up in legal trouble. Just that does not give every other athlete a pass for other bad actions. But that's a tweet written by a Twitter algorithm. It's like, oh, this will get engagement. People be like, preach, shut up. Like, it's stupid. We can talk about all of these things simultaneously. Favre's Favre's denial was so audacious. Like, I've done nothing wrong when we have seen the text messages. Go ahead.
Wait, so I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How long is it? When did word get out that Brett Favre was denying this? Because I just feel like I'm just now
3
here.
3 days ago.
Okay, so 3 days ago. These allegations came 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Oh, months ago.
So him and his team strategized
and then he decided
deny it
listen, and by the way, it's not the flat shaggy it wasn't me defense is not a terrible strategy, but anybody that's been paying attention to this, the text messages are like the smoking gun here. So it's an audacious defense, but I don't buy it at all. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Again, keep the questions coming for the C block. We have a new game coming up after a very short break, and I'm going to rant about the most frustrating part about watching NFL football in 2022. That's all next. About a 60-second break. We'll be right back live on YouTube, and if you're listening on a podcast, we appreciate that as well. Welcome back in. What's Right, Nick Wright, live on YouTube. And in fact, since we are live on YouTube, my apologies, I am going to tweet out the link right now. Still going live on YouTube, so that way more people can join us, because we're going to answer your questions in the chat at the end of the show. We also have on What's Right show. Sorry about this. I should have done this during our commercial break. There we go. There's the link for that. Sent out. We're going to answer your questions in the chat, and we've got a new game coming. But first, oh, look at that Photoshop. Look, Damonza.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I do read books. Stop. See, you calm down over there dropping stuff.
This guy just fidgeted with his phone for the first 30 seconds of the.
I wasn't fidgeting. I was trying to increase our reach.
One marker.
I was trying to amplify our reach. I didn't drop my phone, by the way. Okay. I want to talk about something quickly before we get to our new game. So, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, the NFL broadcast decided, man, there's so much controversy surrounding replay reviews, what is a catch, what isn't a catch. Let's have on standby for all these games a ref, a retired ref, so he can come in and be like, hey, this is a foul, this isn't a foul. He's not going to be a part of the broadcast play in, play out, but when we need an expert, let's go to him. I am calling on NFL broadcasts to do the same thing for, quote, analytics, unquote, because it is so maddening listening to every decision a coach makes that the broadcast crew disagrees with. There's like, oh, some nerd with a calculator told him to do it. It's the old analytics. So I'm watching Monday Night Football, Chiefs-Raiders. The Raiders go for 2 to go up 1, and Joe and Troy, who are great, they're like, analytics. That was not analytics. The analytical models were actually very split on if that was even a good or a bad decision. That was Josh McDaniel flatly saying, I think we can get 2. And I don't think they trust their kicker. I want to try and take the lead. That's what it was. But here's my real frustration. First of all, there's so many things here. So give me a few minutes. First of all, analytics is simply it needs a rebranding. It is making a decision based on historical and contemporaneous evidence on what will lead to the best result. That's all it is.
Right.
We all use analytics all day long.
Yep.
Whether we recognize it or not. It's just calculated in our own head. It's like, well, I'm running late. Will I get there? Should I speed? Am I more or less likely to get there earlier if I speed? Well, how often is there a cop here? How often do I get pulled over? That decision tree is the same thing as analytics. And so there are certain NFL decisions that never happened in the past that now sometimes do happen that are purely analytics. Let me give you an example. A team is down 14 points and scores a touchdown. All the analytical models agree in that spot you should go for 2. The reason you should do that is a pure analytical, red line, down 14 late, score a touchdown. Why do you go for 2? Well, if you get it, now a touchdown and an extra point win you the game. If you don't get it, you then have another opportunity to go for 2. You have to fail on 2 2-point conversions for it to hurt you. Right. That is a clear, let me give you another example of a clear analytical red line, no doubt about it. If you are, and this is one a lot of teams don't do, but I would argue they should. If you are down 15 points and you need 2 touchdowns, one of them with a 2-point conversion.
Right.
You score a touchdown. You should go for 2 on the first touchdown. People are like, well, but then if you don't get it, you're down 2 scores. The reason that is another analytical red line is you want to know as early as possible if you are or are not converting the 2-point conversion. Fair. That way, if you down 15, score a touchdown, kick the extra point, down 8.
Right.
And then get the ball back, down 8, go score another touchdown, fail the 2-point conversion with 10 seconds left, you're like, oh, well, I've lost, game's over.
Right.
If you are down 15, score a touchdown, and go for 2 and don't get it with 4 minutes left, now we're down 2 scores. We didn't get it. Now we are in an onside kick situation. Those are analytical, pure analytics. A lot of this other stuff that the announcers are blaming on analytics is judgment calls in the finest of margins. And the most frustrating part for me is we only play the result on bad, or not even bad, on analytical decisions that fail. So, for instance, what is the biggest surprise in the NFL this year? I would argue it's the Giants. You know what set their tone of their entire season? Going for 2 with 45 seconds left in game 1, down 1 against the Titans, and Saquon got in. Set the tone for their whole season. That would never have happened a decade ago. It would have been thought of as insane.
Yep.
And nobody's like, oh, analytics might have helped the Giants there. The Raider game, when people are killing Josh McDaniels for going for 2 to take the lead, which again, most of the analytical models actually disagreed with because there was so much time left. What nobody acknowledged was on the first possession of the game in their own territory in 4th and 1, they went for it. That is a pure analytical decision. They scored a touchdown. Everyone kills John Harbaugh for last year for his goal line and 2-point conversion decisions, failing to acknowledge that last year, early in the year against the Chiefs, he went for a 4th down. It won them the game. The Chargers, 2 weeks ago, or last week, they went for a 4th and short near midfield with the lead. Seemed, even by my standards, very aggressive. They ended up winning anyway. People kill the coach there, Staley.
Okay.
Totally ignoring the week before, exact same situation. Up against the Texans late in the 4th quarter. They went for a 4th down in their own territory and got it, and then ended up winning the game because of it. Nobody ever talks about these decisions when they work. It is maddening. And nobody ever kills a coach for going against analytics, going with the old school way when they lose because of it. You know, one of the major mistakes the Raiders made, something that went totally in the face of analytics, up 14-0 on Kansas City. They had a 4th and 1 at the 35. The Chiefs 35. And they kicked the field goal. All the analytical models scream, go, go, go. Yeah. They didn't. They got a field goal. A lot of good that did them. So old school football, what coaches and the media are complicit in this. They coach to delay losing as opposed to trying to win the game outright. The Chiefs made a grievous analytical error in that Raider game. They had 4th and 2 right outside of the 2-minute warning around midfield. If they get a 1st down, they win the game. They punted away, up 1. And you know what happened? The Raiders sliced down the field, and if Davante Adams doesn't bobble that football, they're in field goal range. No, the Raiders bobbled it on the sideline, and that was a mistake by the Chiefs they got away with. The Ravens last week against the Bengals. I'll give you another example. Everyone killed Harbaugh for not kicking the field goal against the Bills, blamed analytics. So this weekend against the Bengals, up 3, he went against the analytics and kicked the field goal, trusted his defense. You know what the Bengals did? Drove right down the field, scored a touchdown to go up 1. Now the Ravens ended up getting away with it because they had a great final 2-minute drive, but it is so maddening that we are NFL fans, and even the language of it is biased. Take the points. Why don't you take the points? Guys, when teams don't kick field goals, it's not because they don't like points. It's because they want more of it. They're trying to take more points.
Right.
So that's my little rant. One day, mark it down. The folks that kill and that's the one last point. You would think it'd be more popular because it's the obvious, more aggressive way to play. Right. Going for it, leaving your offense on the field. But fans have been tricked into thinking it's dumb. The folks that are out here being anti-analytics are going to sound like the NBA commentators of a decade ago saying jump shooting teams don't win championships. They're going to look like cavemen. What, are you amazed by how long this has gone?
I'm amazed at the clock right now.
Yeah, all right, well, let's get to our game. I told you this was going to be a good analytics rant. So how's this game work? What is it? What happens here?
It's called Wright-Ins, pretty straightforward. I will make a statement.
Look at this stupid picture.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I don't love it.
Need to shrink my head just a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
I will make a statement, and then we will fill in the blanks with our answers. Our live viewers can also respond in the chat, and we'll read some of the best answers.
Okay.
Our first one we've got, after losing to the Chiefs, Davante Adams pushed cameraman over and got in his way. Davante Adams'
You all
punishment
right there, Chief? You want to take a deep breath?
Yeah. But you guys heard me. If you didn't hear me, I'll repeat it. After losing to the Chiefs, Davante Adams pushed a cameraman over who got in his way. Davante Adams' punishment should be
okay. So
blank.
We're writing these down?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to All right, so I'm going to say his
Oh,
punishment.
jeez.
What, can you not write, buddy? I,
Um,
this is what I'm writing. Suspension with an asterisk, okay? The reason I say here's why I say suspension but with an asterisk. I do not believe he should be suspended. However, I believe that what he did is far worse than what Mike Evans did. Mike Evans pushed another player.
Right.
And the NFL suspended Mike Evans.
Right.
And so because of that, I think they have set the precedent that if the punishment for shoving Marshawn Lattimore is a game, the punishment for shoving a civilian has to be a game. I also am really annoyed by the members of the media that are blaming this camera guy. Now,
I haven't seen too much of that.
they're like, oh, he should have looked where he was going. Oh, he was in Davante Adams' workspace. That's that guy's workspace. Now, do I think the camera guy filing a police report is part of a pending lawsuit? Yes. Do I think it's a bit of a money grab? Yes. Do I think what Davante Adams did rises to the level of criminality? No, I don't. Even though, I mean, it's technically simple assault caught on tape. So, yeah, he's probably going to have to plead to something if the guy continues to press charges. But all these folks are like, oh, my God, can you believe this guy is going forward? Folks, if you're just at work and something happens, do neither of your markers work?
No, one of them works.
Okay. If you're just at work and you walk by somewhere and it's like, hey, if you pick that bag up, strangers on the internet will make fun of you. But you get to keep the $50,000 inside. I think most people would be picking it up. It's free money for him. He's going to get some money. I don't begrudge him that.
I think you should have DM'd him. Just like, hey, man,
Okay, well,
I can either go forward with this or you can just give me some money, dude. Which
yeah,
one?
but you've got to quickly file the police report.
Right.
It helps you a lot. I think you'll end up dropping the charges. Again, if Mike Evans hadn't been suspended, I would say the punishment should just be a fine. But he was suspended, so I think he should be suspended. All right, what's the next one?
The next one we got. Oh, wait, hold on. Producers should drop. Okay, so they did.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were saved Monday night when the Raiders went for 2 instead of kicking the game-tying extra point. The coaching decisions this year have been horrific. The NFL head coach most likely to hit a 20.
A hit
on a 20 in blackjack. K is. Okay.
Are you all right, buddy? Are you having a stroke? Are you okay? Damonza's got to go. I mean, Damonza just got up. So I'm going to surprise people with my answer here.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, Damonza is a little under the weather. He's also having trouble with his whiteboard that he also, by the way, left at home and I had to go back and get. Are you going to sit back down? What are you doing?
I just had to regroup for a second.
Okay, yeah. So I think what do you think my answer to this is going to be? The coach.
Nathaniel Hackett.
That is not my answer. Even Nathaniel Hackett knows not to hit on
Andy
20
Reid.
blackjack. No. Here's my answer. My answer is Kingsbury. And you might be like, Nick, why? I know you don't like Cliff. My answer is Kingsbury because nobody would hit on 20 in blackjack ever. In fact, the casino will actually try to stop you from doing it. They'll be like, are you sure? So why would Kingsbury do it? Because I think Kingsbury's flirting with the cocktail waitress and not paying attention. He's like, hit me. And he's not. He's like, no. They're like, sir. He's like, hit me. So yeah, if it were the coach most likely to stay on 16 against a 10, that would be Hackett. But hit on a 20, it's Kingsbury because I think he's distracted. You're out of the whiteboard game, by the way. You're not writing anything. Your marker's not working. You're out. You just ask me, and I'll answer the questions. What's next?
All right, New York sports are thriving. The Jets and the Giants are somehow over 500 for the first time since 2015. The Knicks and Nets tip off this week. The best New York team after baseball season will be.
Oh, that's easy. The team that I have season tickets for. The best New York team, once the Yankees are done, is going to be the Nets. And so, okay, so can I just, all right, everybody real quick, before I even give my answer. Damonza, hold yours up again, because so Damonza, hold it up to the camera, you doofus. Hold it up to the camera.
No, I was just trying to make sure I didn't read the.
Okay, there you go. See how it says Bills? Okay, the Bills are not a New York team.
What do you mean they're not a New York team?
They are talking New York City, which is why they said the Jets and the Giants in the question. They're talking New York City teams. They're not talking about the Buffalo Bills in upstate New York. I told you you're out of the game. And instead, you wrote Bills twice in terrible handwriting.
No, because it was really small.
Yeah, it's small the first time. You're out. You can regroup next week. Just ask the questions. My answer is the Nets. I don't think the Nets can win the title, and I don't think they'll be great in the playoffs, but they'll be quite good in the regular season. I don't think, listen, the Giants and Jets are good stories, but between the two of them, they're going to win 0 combined playoff games. The Knicks are not going to be very good. Best player on that team can't be Jalen Brunson. The answer is obviously the Nets. It's no question the Nets. Do you know, by the way, next Wednesday, you're going, by the way. You, me, your mom, and one of your sisters, a week from Wednesday, Nets Pelicans to open the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
That'll be very exciting.
But the answer is the Nets. All right, next.
Say Ben.
Oh, Joe Schmo, by the way, in the chat says the Nets, and Cameron says fly, Jets fly. Let me say one thing about the Jets. Zach Wilson's looked good in his 2 games back. And that is the only thing that matters for the Jets is that Zach Wilson progresses and he looks good. All right, next.
You're not a big baseball fan, but you've been watching the playoffs a bit. You will watch what percentage of the MLB playoffs?
Oh, well, I mean, starting next round, where, well, really in this round when the games aren't on during the day, 85%. Let me say this about playoff baseball. Playoff baseball, it's like a different sport than regular season baseball. Regular season baseball, I have close to 0 interest in. Playoff baseball is exhilarating. The way every pitch matters, the way everything matters, I'm totally into it. And I like the new format. I like the expanded, I didn't think I would, but the best of 3 in the wild card round, now the divisional round. Padres-Dodgers has been an unbelievable series. I'm totally in on the playoff baseball, so I'll watch 85%. All right, last one.
Wait, hold on. I know it says something about Roger Goodell here, but we're not doing that.
We're not doing that one.
So I need your because I'm on the updated document.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. So do you have the Lakers question? This has not been your best performance. I got to tell you.
No, man.
You don't. Okay, I'll read the question. Damonza, take a lap. Damonza's in the penalty box. During the Lakers-Wolves preseason game, Patrick Beverley called a huddle on the court. LeBron, AD, and Lonnie Walker joined him. Russell Westbrook refused to join. Your relationship advice for Russ and Pat Bev is... My relationship advice, you're not on the updated document. Stop looking so confused. It's not your fault. The internet went out for a moment. I already had mine updated. Don't worry about it, pal. I gotcha. Here's my advice for Russ and Patrick Beverley, and it's what I think Russ expected to happen. Divorce. There is no saving this. And the idea, Russ is clearly and obviously coming to the realization, like I am, that he's going to start the season on this team. He didn't want to start the season on this team. He was trying to play good soldier and wasn't planning on starting the season on this team. And Patrick Beverley, listen, Russ, I've got your back. Patrick Beverley has no business trying to tell LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook when to huddle up. Patrick Beverley is the height of irritation. He's not one of those guys like, oh, you hate him when he's on your team, but you love him or you hate him when he's on the other team, you love him when he's on your team. No. Yeah, he's irritating for all people involved in all circumstances. Unfortunately, the Lakers traded for him, so he's going to be around. I do not think Russ makes it to New Year's Day with the Lakers. I think Russ is on his way out. They just haven't found the trade that works best. Okay, I got to be honest. This game didn't go exactly how we hoped. Damonza's marker didn't work. Damonza's computer then crashed. He's a little under the weather. I'm going to, you know what? I take ownership of this. This was my fault here. I should have saw this coming down the pike. Damonza's still curious about what's going on with the computer. I told you what's going on with the computer. Don't worry about it. We got it all handled. We're still live on YouTube. Podcast still rolling. We answer your questions next. Quick break. What's right? All right, welcome back in episode 81. What's right, Nick Wright, live on YouTube. Also, if you're just listening to us, you can download on Spotify, on Apple iTunes. Buddy, don't worry about it. Don't get tilted. Listen, we're live. Oh, guys, I told him not to worry about it. Now we're doing a new drawing of blank. Damonza's performance today has been outstanding. He's under the weather. He could have called in sick. He could have left us screwed. His computer went down for a moment, and his whiteboard didn't work. I'm not worried about it. You're doing a great job.
Wait, I'm actually not tilted by it.
Well, you should be a little tilted. Should be a little bothered by it.
It's not my fault.
Well, I kind of gave you an out there saying it wasn't your fault. I'm not sure whose fault it was. Doesn't matter. We are now reading questions from the fans. Damonza, what are the questions?
Well, this wasn't in the question, but Nathan said he had to turn this off to read a book.
Oh, good for him. You know what, Nathan? The good thing about being on YouTube and the podcast, we're on demand. Whenever you want. Get a nice couple chapters in, Nate. You'll feel better about yourself. Next.
Gabe Goodwin says, what's right with Nick Wright? Come for the book club, stay for the analytic analysis.
All right, Gabe Goodwin is another one of our executive producers. As I mentioned the EPs earlier, Gabe runs Blue Duck Media, does a great job. I would love to know, is Gabe's there. Can you guys put in there what's the last book Gabe read start to finish? Because there's a chance that because Gabe is like a low-key, real smart guy. There's a chance that Gabe is like, oh, yeah, I read a book really recently about, the French Revolution.
Right.
I would believe that. I would also believe that he has not read a complete book in 6 years. Like, I think the range of possibilities there are endless. This is not a book guy. Too busy making podcasts. Oh, look at them. Okay, so we can put that in the chat. All right, Damonza, what's next?
Next, we have Matthew. He's asking, what's the best bet you've ever won? Poker or sports gambling? I want to know about your favorite win ever. Love this show. Have a great day, team. Thanks, dude.
Okay, well, that's very nice of you. I mean, poker, it wouldn't be like a bet. Like, I've won, I think the biggest single poker hand I've ever won, the pot was probably, I don't know, $16,000. So that's probably the biggest poker hand I've won. My best poker night ever would be it was on TV, the time that I won that $10,000 sit and go with Helmuth and Negreanu and Maria Ho and others. And that one I won, it was $10,000 to enter, and it was $50,000. Was it 50 or 60,000 first prize? It was 60,000 first prize, so I won 50,000 there. So that's my best poker night ever, but that's kind of a unique situation. Like, that's a one-off. The best bet I've ever won would be I won a lot when the Lakers won the title on a Lakers future. That was a really good one. Oh, no. The best bet I ever won without question was when the Clippers were up 3-1 on the Nuggets. I bet the Nuggets live to win the series at like 80-1 while they were trailing in Game 5.
That's special.
With in this kind of gambling group I'm in. I got the Nuggets to win the series at like 78-1 because they were down 3-1 in the series and they were down like 15 in the second half, and they ended up coming all the way back. So that one was crazy. I also won a ton of money in this same gambling group betting on the last presidential election after Biden had been announced the winner. Because a lot of these guys I'm in this group with are I think half of them were at the Capitol on January 6th, and they were convinced that the election was going to get overturned, and they kept betting. They bet on Trump to win states that had already been called. And so that was the biggest. That was way more. I mean, the election thing was just consistent. I mean, it was just people giving money away. And if I'm being totally honest, it kind of felt like they were getting free-rolled, because if I lost, it would mean that, our government fell in a coup, in which case I think all bets are off. I think that's where they got the phrase, all bets are off. It's like, well, if your country's in the midst of the government's been overthrown, I'm not sure how and when we're paying these bets off. All right, next.
Dylan asks, if the Chiefs went bankrupt and had to shut operations down tomorrow, what NFL team would you root for?
It's a really interesting question. So, I think the answer is the Jags.
Oh, wow.
Because I do believe in Trevor Lawrence, and I wouldn't want to, bandwagon a team that is already really good.
The Ravens?
Yeah, the Ravens would be fun, but it would feel a little bandwagon-y. It couldn't be any AFC West teams. It obviously wouldn't be that's a hell of a question. Who's my favorite team? Another way to put that is, what's my favorite team other than the Chiefs? So I like Trevor Lawrence, so that one's interesting. There'd be no AFC East team.
Shit, it seems like...
I like Tomlin, but no. I didn't, Houston's not the answer. So the Jags, or if they got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco. San Francisco would feel a little bandwagon-y, to be honest with you.
Seems like you love Cincinnati.
I do like Cincinnati. Yeah. Cincinnati but that feels a little bandwagon-y too. They just went to the Super Bowl. You know what? My answer is the Jags. All right, what's the next question from the chat?
Pepe asks, what is the Premier League team you root for?
Liverpool, because my buddy Maverick owns a piece of it. So the LeBron and Maverick bought a piece of Liverpool, and I like Premier League soccer. I like European soccer, most notably, or international soccer. That's why I'm so excited for the World Cup. But I never had a team. I thought for a while that I was a Tottenham fan, but then I realized I didn't really care. I wasn't watching their games. But once Maverick bought a piece of Liverpool, then I became a fan of them. All right, last one.
Yeah, by the way, says you nailed it. He got through half of Obama's last book.
Yeah, that's about what I figured. He has him on his nightstand, so he looks good, but he doesn't actually. Yeah.
So we got Joel
Pinfield, I think.
Pinfield low hard. Oh, how hard were you laughing when Carl Sheffer's voice cracked when he had to announce that call?
Yeah, listen. Let me say one thing, and this will wrap the show. The roughing the passer penalty on Chris Jones was objectively terrible.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst calls you'll ever see. He already possessed the ball when they called him for roughing the passer. Despite that call, and the fact that it might have been a 10-point swing, I think the Chiefs got the better whistle over the course of that game because the refs were so tilted by how bad that call was in Arrowhead's crowd that the Chiefs got every single flag the rest of the game. If I'm a Raider fan, that holding on the kick on the missed field goal haunts me to this day. And the poor Raiders, who blew the game against the Cardinals, almost stole the game against the Titans, finally got a win, and then we're about to get another win, be 2-3 headed into their bye.
And had beaten the Chiefs.
And would have beaten the Chiefs and what was their other win? Was it the Chargers or was it the Broncos? The Raiders other win, my apologies.
I think it was the Broncos.
No, it was the Broncos. That's right. Yeah. They would have gotten 2 divisional wins and going into their bye. Instead, they're 1-4. With that said, here's the Raiders' next 6. Houston, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Indy, Denver, Seattle. Before they play the Chargers again. The Raiders absolutely could be 5-5. The reason I say 5-5 is obviously they're going to lose to the Jaguars, my second favorite team. That's today's show, episode 81. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the gambling show. What's right? Hey, it's Nick Wright. Thank you so much for watching. Please do us a favor. Click subscribe. It helps my ego, and Damonza's got a financial bonus writing on a number of YouTube subscribers, so help him out. And also, click the bell. I don't know what the bell does, but they tell me to tell you to click the bell. And your audio listeners, people that have commutes, drives, whatever it is, subscribe to the podcast as well, wherever you get the podcast. Same show, just in your ears instead of through your eyes. All that. Check it out. Appreciate y'all.